pow, 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 pow. Bye, curator. Yes, okay, he's dead. I almost died there. Woo! Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. In this video I'll be showcasing how to level your rogue all through the early game and mid game, so you get to the end game very fast and with a very effective build. This build shreds through anything. I did the first milestone dungeon at level 18. This one right here, and then the level 70 capstone dungeon at level 35, if I believe. All because this build is completely broken, and also I did a nice trick with tempering. So I'll show you the tempering trick later on, but just quickly gonna go over the build, because if you want to do the capstone dungeon early, then tempering is important, but of course I also want to showcase the build because it just shreds everything very easily. I'm mainly just going to give some tips because most of the builds you already know. It's the Heartseeker build. It's one of the most used builds in Rogue right now. And I'll just give you some tips after going through it quite quickly. So even though I'm not even maxed out right now, I don't have the Umbrous armor enchantment or aspect. I'm still dealing a lot of damage and everything is just breezing through. I went to level 80 in a few hours and everything just was very easy. I just stood at range, hold right click, and everything died. So let's go over the aspect real quick. A very good aspect is the Moonrise aspect on the bow, because it doubles and it is 152% basic skill damage and gives you a lot of attack speed as well. So this is just insane for your auto attacks. And that will later on, I'll go over the abilities why everything is so scaling so well and going well together. Then this one, Sharing Misery. This is just to get all of the CC onto any other enemies. And also, I think, yeah, okay, crown control enemies. You want to hit them a lot and you'll do extra damage to them as well. Then this one's optional. I just have this one because I don't have the Umbrous. That one, Umbrous, actually gives you the, let's say, the Dark Shroud, I think. Yeah, this one, the Dark Shroud. On hit, you have a lucky hit chance just to get the Dark Shrouds. I don't have this currently. I still have it leveled either way, but I don't currently have this. So I just have increased dodge chance, which is quite good as well. Then we have more damage against dazed. We have multiple things that apply daze, and your auto attacks also apply daze, or auto attacks, your Heartseeker attacks also apply daze. So that's pretty good too. So at all scales, you get 20% extra damage, and you can just daze them on hit as well now. Then more damage reduction. Might is just good. You're just going to do basic attacks all the time. So just basically a free 20% damage reduction. Then when you cast the skill Undying, you will gain health again. This is great for just a little bit of survivability. Also doubles when you're under 50%. More survivability, always good. Then for your amulet, you want to get even more basic damage because you're always going to be above 50 resource. None of your things actually spend resource, so none of your skills do, so you'll always be about 50%, getting that free 100% damage. Then distant enemies, and you do more damage against stunned or knocked down enemies. Your passive will give you a chance to knock them down, so always do this, 30% extra damage free. And then skills do 20% increased damage based on the available resource. You have constant full resource, so you're just gonna have 20% damage on there. Then for your other daggers, or for your 2 daggers, you want the lucky hit chance for vampiric curses, because then you can also apply vulnerable with this and increase extra damage. Then finally, you want rapid for extra attack speed. This is 30%, quite nice. And yeah, you basically want to attack as much as possible, so that's very good. Then a few things that you want to note, but based on the tempering, you want to do late game. So there's a difference. If you want to do tempering for the early game, I would advise going damage to distant enemies at the early game, so you can get down your bow. You can even get that on your daggers, your amulet, and your rings. That's very important to get on there. And for your other gear, you would like to have health, just plain health, because at the beginning you just have very little health. And I know I said you can get it on both your daggers and your bow, but on your bow you actually want a different thing. On your bow you can temper. I don't know. I can show you right now because I have a random bow here. This bow, this tempering you want. A chance to deal extra fire damage. Because if you have this legendary, also, a quick side note, I might have needed to say earlier, but you can only do this if you already have made characters in the past and you already have this on legendary. If you don't do it, it's going to be a lot more difficult, because if you have this at legendary and just create a new character, your new character will be able to get all of this. Well, a lucky hit chance, 40% chance to deal 4,000 to 8,000 damage. Well, you can just see lucky hit chance is, I think, base 50% or something. So you can have a very high lucky hit chance just to deal that extra 8,000 damage. It doesn't seem much when you're level 80, but when you're level 18, it almost insta-kills everything. So you want to have a high attack speed with that, and then you just clean through house. I'm going to show some clips of how I did it at level 18, even the boss as well. Nothing was difficult at all, and I had like 1500 health, and everything else was just easy. So that's how you do the Capstone Dungeon. You basically just want to get the same aspects as I told you before, and then just get health on your 3 equipment here, your pants, your chest, and your helmet. And then for the other things, just get damage to distance where you can get it. And for your weapon, you want to get a chance to deal damage, because that's really important. Once you get that, you will just have a chance to instantly kill the enemies, because they don't have that much health. It hasn't scaled that well yet. And for your boots, you can do some movement speed, so it doesn't really matter. Aspects, same as I just showed you. And with that, you can actually get the gear to be able to do the 18 Capstone Dungeon, and just immediately after you can just try to do level 35. But what I did before that, which also made me reach like level 30, was actually doing the specialization quest, and it gave me a little bit of more XP to be able to do the same thing. What you can do is level 35, equip the sacred gear, and then with the sacred gear do the same thing again, temper everything, and then try the Capstone Dungeon again. That's the easiest way, but I think I already tried to do it with like the level 18 gear, and it actually worked. So that was quite easy to do. And then afterwards, I started getting all the sacred gear and then ancestral gear. So that's where I am right now. And everything happened within just a few hours. So it was very easy to do. And this build is just cleaning house. Even now at level 80, I can easily clear like 60 and 70 nightmare dungeons without that much struggles. And one important thing, another important tip that I want to give, is that you want to have on one of your rings, you want to have a lucky hit chance up to a chance to make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. None of your abilities have a chance to add vulnerable. I think a Vampiric Curse might be the only thing that actually is possible to inflict vulnerable, except for just this lucky hit chance to apply vulnerable. Up until you will actually get your exploit, which is not here, which is currently sitting right here. Once you get exploit, then all of your hits will be applied vulnerable, but you still want this in your gear, because you can then make bosses vulnerable consistently, because you're going to hit them more and more, and you're going to hit them for more than 3 seconds. Even though most bosses already die pretty quickly, you're going to run into bosses and enemies that are going to last for more than 3 seconds, and then you want to apply vulnerable to them as well. And everything scales with vulnerable. Your calp damage, everything just gets better once they're vulnerable. A quick edit I want to put it in post-production is that Victimize is actually the main source of your damage. I didn't know that at all, but Victimize actually gets better if you're vulnerable. I actually didn't have any Victimize damage for a while because I didn't apply any vulnerable. So you really want that vulnerable in there, and all of the vulnerable damage adds to this. So you really want to have them be constantly vulnerable, and you also gain more attack speed and stuff to them. So that's basically the build. Within 10 minutes I explained everything to you. I'm going to show you some gameplay afterwards, also of me doing the Capstone Dungeon, and maybe just some gameplay of me doing dungeons at this level. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.
Care to join the hunt?
Hello.
Bloody well done! With all this, we can draw out one of the big ones! Do you hear that?
Greetings.
Right, that's it. Take this for your troubles. Good luck to you.